Today, we are going to be making the fandangly 3-link mounts for my 1989 Toyota pickup and this fancy cross member. And make sure you stay tuned because we got help from my buddy Ethan at Grind Hard Plumbing Co. and Dave from the Dirt Head Shed. And those guys are just rad.
Brought to you in part by Cranbrook Toyota.
So, as you guys know, we are in the process of rebuilding my 1989 Toyota pickup with the 1UZ swap. One of the first major things we did here was pull the cab off. It's for a couple of reasons. One of the big ones is I wanted to make sure that the frame was still good on, like, all sides. Good news! The frame is mint, which is kind of what I expected. And the other reason I want to pull the cab off is because we're ditching the leaf springs for the solid axle swap in favor of doing a 3-link like my Tacoma. One of the easiest way to figure out the 3-link and make sure everything's gonna work and get all my measurements is just with the cab off. Then I've got all the room to work from the top and the bottom and make sure everything clears. And we've done it. So the crossmember itself, you can see, is for dual transfer cases and it bolts to these big frame plates here. And on the frame plates, you can see we've got the upper link integrated here, some bracing, there'll be a top piece too, and the lower link is gonna go up here somewhere. We haven't gotten that far yet. So I'm gonna start the day by taking that cross member and bolting it back into the frame rails where it needs to live, and then we're gonna move on to the axle side brackets. These holes right here on the frame plates actually line up with the factory cross member holes, so assembly is actually super easy. Next on the agenda, we're going to go to my spare axle housing here. We're going to take off pretty much all of the factory brackets. The leaf spring perches, the factory anti-wrap bar mount, the steering stabilizer mount, the sway bar mounts, and yeah, essentially make it a bare housing. I'm finding this kind of stuff is pretty tricky to film because it's a whole lot of just thinking. For example, because I know I'm going to be running a 37-inch tire, that tells me that my link separation needs to be 9 1/4 because your link separation is 25% of your overall tire size. Which means the upper link mount, the upper link tower on the axle, is going to stick up pretty high depending on where I locate the lower links. My initial thought was to have them pretty low, but then looking at it, like when I go to throw a bolt through here, the steering stops are going to be right in the way. But if I put the link mount up high just above that, you can imagine the 9 1/4 inches would be up here. And the problem with that is up travel. I'm trying to get the absolute best bang for my buck as far as positioning goes. Because if you think about it, if I have my upper link tower too high, there's a chance of the upper link running into my motor mounts when it's fully flexed out. So ideally, if I can keep this slightly lower, the lower I can keep the upper link. But at the same time, when you are fully bumped out, you want your links to be like as parallel to the ground as possible. So having them up high isn't a bad thing in that regard, because if they were down low, the axle tube itself would have to come up into the frame rail to even make it parallel. So I think a fair compromise would be to put the upper link right here. Kind of put the bolts just above the steering stop and call it good. I think somewhere in here is going to be where that's going to land. I've made a change. I didn't like how high the upper link mount was with this bracket turned up and having the bolt come up above the steering stop. So instead, I've turned the bracket down to be kind of like 90 degrees to the axle housing here. So the bolt will actually come in behind the steering stop, like up here at the top. With the bracket there, I was able to make the upper link bracket like more than an inch shorter than it was with the bracket turned up. And if those mocked up, take the measuring tape and I've got like bang on 8 inches and a quarter. So now I'm just gonna do the same thing I did with this guy, build another one of these, box it in, and then I'll have, well, the link mounts filed in cardboard. Now that we got our upper link, lower links, cross member, and frame side link mounts all done out of cardboard, you might be wondering how I'm gonna turn all of this. Guy's a little menace. You might be wondering how I'm gonna turn all of this into metal so that we can actually use it on the truck. And that I am very excited to show you. We got a fancy new tool in the shop. This here is an Arc Droid. It's a tiny little CNC plasma robot. And when I was making all these, I was keeping this thing in mind. So all the brackets and everything is designed to be cut within the parameters of this fancy little robot. But before I get too carried away playing with the new toy, I'm gonna go head down to Ethan from Grindhard Plumbing Company, and he's gonna show me how these work. So we made it here to the Grindhard shop, and you'll never believe what they're dabbling in. This is a solid axle, and not only that, they're gonna do a I guess a 4-link conversion on the mini truck thing.
Mini car, Chinese car thing.
Yeah. So I'm dealing with a 3-link, so it's pretty cool that they're in the middle of something somewhat similar.
Will's first axle truss here.
Look,
Honestly, it's Grindhard's first axle truss.
look how cute this axle is, though. Like,
Yeah, it's like a little, you can just lift weights with it. It's from that.
This mini truck is on a Polaris Ranger 6x6 chassis, so its drive, or at least rear end, is getting repurposed. So at home, I designed like this bracket myself to kind of like learn it, but now I'm gonna watch Ethan not use that, but he's gonna work on the actual cross member part. And I think there's going to be a couple of hexagons.
Probably.
Probably. Knowing Ethan's design. But yeah, I just kind of learned this stuff for myself, so I'm interested in seeing how Ethan does it. And
I just kind of taught myself too, so I might be doing really stupid stuff. We got 3 people who have 3 very different experiences with CAD here, so
yeah. Now we're going to turn the cross member. We're going to turn the actual cross member piece into metal.
Yeah. We're going to go from cardboard aided design to computer aided design, and then a solid part.
Actual cardboard aided design. Dude, that is hands down I made my year seeing that. I've never seen anyone go to this level of a cardboard aided design. I mean, this is, why don't you just use this? Just bolt this in, it'll be dialed. I don't know, this thing's sweet.
You could cast this, use
Dude,
this as a
that'd be
mold,
funny.
put this in sand casting, and then cast it out of aluminum or something.
That would be sweet. It's got all the cardboard edges.
Yeah. So, what do we want to start with here on designing this? Well, I guess we'll just start with this dimension then. 15 inches across.
When I was young, my daddy said, gotta keep one eye open in your bed. 'Cause there's a time coming when the devil...
Clinton was, we were talking about tire pressure in the chopper tires here earlier, and then Clinton grabs this and goes,
He told me.
well, I don't know. He's like, I can make it be 4 PSI. Look at that, they're 4 PSI.
He told me to grab the gauge and check.
So he grabbed the gauge and checked the tire angle.
But did it work?
I don't know. It did. I got 4 PSI out of it.
So it's a win.
But this is gonna be extremely handy for this, because I can just reference that. 42.1 degrees.
So there's a ton of like notes, like drive shaft and stuff like that written all over. This was never meant to be like the final form, but I knew once I was at this stage, it'd be easy enough to translate this into a computer with those notes.
Yeah. Without
So-
having the truck actually here to measure.
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's also why it's made in a nice 3D shape, so
Yep.
that we can finger it out here instead of at home, or because I don't have the truck here.
And then that's the space in which we can do hexagons. Let's go a little less than 0.5 though, so we have more. Like we'll just go to like the DG basically.
So if you haven't seen any of Grindhard's videos before, Ethan has got a thing for hexagons.
I mean, it started because I was just trying to find a good shape. It actually started with the Barbie Camper's control arms.
Yeah.
And I just wanted a good shape to like make something look cool and reduce the weight while keeping it strong.
Yeah.
And I was trying to do like tapered sizes of holes, but I haven't found a good way to do that like efficiently in CAD. And then I just thought, why not try a hexagon? And then I realized that hexagons are extremely easy to do this with because you just offset it, make another hexagon. Like it makes a perfect grid that's strong and very aesthetically pleasing. And then it just became a thing, and now I just do hexagons on everything, and it's what people expect.
Yeah.
And it's even the new wheels for my truck have hexagons.
Yeah, it looks good.
The tiles in my shower are hexagons. That actually happened way before. But
Now what we're looking at on the screen is essentially the entirety of that cross member.
represented in
There's computer, like you can see, like there's Dirt.Garage there, and there's hexagons and all sorts of.
bad welding on this thing?
huh?
You want me to do some poorly executed
No, thank you.
welding on it?
Also, Dave is here from the Dirt Head Shed.
We're just hanging out on the weekend building stuff.
Like I told Ethan that I wanted to come down and do this, and
Then it turned
then
into a
it
party.
turned into just a kind of a shop hangout party. So
Dude,
hey, it's my kind of weekend.
I got
Yeah.
offered a keychain, so I was like all in. It was $75 in gas, but it was totally worth it.
You're the one who's driving a V10 of what, 40s?
Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. On a scale of 1 to mock chicken, how excited are you to be able to cut parts like this?
Well, mock chicken isn't usually the metric we use.
Of
for
excitement? What do you use?
Mock
Maple
chicken is
syrups?
like when you're going
Do you
through
measure
the
excitement in
factory.
maple syrups?
Maybe.
How many maple syrups excited are you about this?
4.
4. The answer's always 4. And that 4 is as high as the maple syrup scale goes, right?
Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying about my hair?
You look great.
I was just impressed all around.
That's a very nice cross member right there.
How do you like the slag knife?
Oh, dude, the slag knife is premium. But like, that's beautiful. It's Dirt.Garage trading cards.
Yeah. I love the way rusty steel that's been plasma cut looks. The burnt edges of the rust. It looks
Yeah.
really nice. We got a whole pile of it right here. Look at that.
Looks like we got a cross member.
Yeah. We just gotta glue it together. Just like that one. Hot glue.
Hot glue.
gun.
Not bad for half a day's half-assed work.
Yeah, it was cardboard this morning.
Oh.
Thanks for coming to hang out, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Pretty rad.
Yeah.
It's been a fun day. I don't usually hang out in the shop on the weekends, and I never have like other people who build stuff here on the
Good day.
weekends. Yeah, it's been fun. It's nice having a new shop that's big enough
Yeah.
to have people hang out in, because the old one would have been miserable.
And good heat.
And good heat.
And good heat, yeah.
Yep. And good
Get us
insulation.
down to my place.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. We can do this again at your house.
Sick.